All right, hi. My name's Don, and I came into the group about, I want to say 2 years ago, and I was going through a really tough time. The dissolution of my marriage. My wife, she decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. That we got married too young, and just watching my family break up, which was the most important thing to me. My world fell apart, and I'd always gone to church, and I always knew God and had a relationship with God, but I put my at some point I put my family ahead of God, and so when that fell apart, my whole world fell apart. And I remember I was in church, and I was there because I knew it was a safe place to go, and I always went. I never really stopped going, and so they said, "Well, hey, sign up for a small group, a group of people just to study the Bible." And I said, "Okay, you know what? I'm going to do that." And so I signed up, and somehow I ended up in Bob's group where I am. And Bob said, "Hey, I'm starting a group for single divorced dads, guys kind of going through substance problems." And I was like, "Well, how'd you get a hold of me? Because I didn't sign up for that." And I remember I came in, and I always had a lot of questions. Christianity was something where, to me, I read the Bible, and it was always like, it was written 2,000 years ago for Jewish people. And we've kind of taken it, and there are parts of it that made sense, and parts of it I felt like, it's stuff that happened 2,000 years ago. And I kind of made my own religion where it was the parts that I liked, and I left the parts that were off. And so I remember when we first started, we'd have discussions, and I would be like, "Well, I have a real problem with this, and I agree with that." And the nice thing about the group was Bob just kind of let us talk, and a couple of the guys like Gary would kind of try and steer us back to Scripture. And over time, my position softened and changed, and I saw the Bible more as a instruction manual on how to live your life. And one of the most important things that I learned was I was making a mistake with how I prioritize things in my life. And I learned that if you put God first, family, your spouse, your children, your job, in the proper order, you God's never going to let you down. And you can let him be God, and then my wife can just be my wife, my family can just be my family, and they can be human. And maybe I sought salvation in my family, and it's a really hard expectation for them to be your salvation when they can't. And so I reprioritized my life, and I let go. One of the things that Bob always talks about is dying to self. And I didn't understand what that meant at first. And now I think I kind of understand. It means, this is one of the things in the Bible, Christ talks about it. If you want to save your life, you have to lose your life. And I always had trouble with that too. And I think I finally understand it now. I was always afraid of losing something by giving it over to God. And now I understand that, by giving it away, then God's not going to take anything away from me. He's only going to make it better. And so that's what the group means to me. I mean, it's almost like in the early Christian church, we got a bunch of brothers that come around you, and they support you, and they get to know you, and they spend their lives, they share their lives with you, and you do the same. And it's changed my whole life, and it's changed my relationships. So I've kind of gotten through it was about 2.5 year divorce, and I've gotten through that, and something I never wanted, and but it's okay because I know that I am seeking God, and He's with me, and I have all these brothers around me that help me out. So going forward, I don't know what is God has planned, but I do know this, that I will always seek Him and try to do what He wants me to do, and I'll have a support group behind me. So we talk on the phone all the time, and we meet all the time, and we get together when we're not in group. So I thank you for the group and for Bob in particular. I don't know what I'd do if God hadn't put us together. So.